Hello, hello. How is everybody? Watching all those people come in. Make sure you guys say hello as you are popping in. I've got Miss Ashley Hearn here with me. There's Susan and Susan. There's Anita. Hello. Crystal's popping on. Carol, Sharon. Hey, Tammy. There's Patty. Hi, Noelle. Hey, Susan. We'll give everybody a minute to hop on. I just told Ashley, I think we have like 65 registered or something, which is awesome. I love seeing those registration numbers go up. Hi, Patty. Love it, love it, love it. I hope everybody's Wednesday was great. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Crystal. All right. While everybody is hopping on, I'll go ahead and just say hello. I hope you guys had a fabulous day. I love my Wednesday nights. So excited to be back with you guys. And this month during our Better Together consultant-led training, we're going to be focusing on social media and capitalizing on holiday selling using social media, considering our 3-month event, Holiday Hustle, has started. Our 3-month promotion. So I am so excited about this month, but I kind of just want to preface it with all of these things that I'm going to be sharing with all of our guests who are talking about social media, are sharing things that we believe are super useful for your business. But I want to reiterate that is not the end all be all, and it is not us telling you that this is what you have to do. But I think it's so important for people to share what they're doing when they're seeing success. And there's lots of people who are amazing on social media, engaging and connecting with new people. So that's kind of what we're hoping to accomplish this month as we have some guests pop on and share how they are using social media. So tonight we have Mrs. Ashley Hearn with us. And she's super active on social media, and she's going to share a little bit about how she shares and works her business and makes connections using Instagram posts and stories. Hey, Sarah. Yay. I'm so happy I have so many people on here. So as she's kind of talking, we're just going to go through, she's going to share some things. She'll even share her screen. Don't get overwhelmed. These are just great ideas that she's sharing with you. And you'll be able to watch the replay of this if you need it. So make sure you guys are in the chat asking any questions you have. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. I am so happy you're here with us, Ashley. How's it going?
Hey, it's crazy as usual, but we're excited to be here.
Perfect. Well, we're so happy that you are sharing with us, but I wanted to go ahead and start kind of at the beginning. When we talk about social media, we're going to focus on Instagram tonight. So I want to talk about what and when you share on Instagram. I think a lot of times for a lot of people in this business, it's a struggle of what to say and how to say it. It's a roadblock for people wanting to share. So give us a quick rundown on posts versus sharing on Instagram stories.
Awesome questions. So I just want to start out tonight by saying we all learn as we go. So we're all continuing to learn, and Instagram is continuing to change. But what I have found is sort of what works for me, and I continue to build on that. And so I want to start at kind of the root of really what works in social media. And I think that is the goal of social media, is really to add value to others. Yep. So whether that value is like an inspirational way, in an inspirational way, or adding a knowledge base to your audience, or even making your audience laugh, useful tips and tricks that you've found. And all of this does not have to be related to Truora, but just in life in general, and everything will come back to Truora in some way, Yeah. So by helping others, that is what is going to attract people to follow you in the first place. Yeah. So when you're posting, always think like, in some way, would this help someone or be a positive influence on someone.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you will build trust with followers and friends and acquaintances that maybe follow you on Facebook, but don't know you, or on Instagram, but don't know you really well.
Yeah.
They will see you as someone that is always learning and growing, someone who is positive, becoming healthier, and affecting others in a good way. And then they'll be more likely to turn to you when they're in the market for something you offer. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I come from in social media. And I do think that's paid off. So as far as Instagram goes, there are a few different ways you can post on Instagram. Tonight, we're going to talk about stories. Posts are more individually, like pictures and videos that come up with a caption. That's the big difference, is you can write a caption that's a little bit longer. And with stories, it's more like real life, and it's real time.
Yeah.
And shorter amount of words are available with stories. So when you post regular posts, you want to do that maybe once a day is probably my recommendation. Whereas stories are kind of throughout your day, more like a day in the life of, and they're more casual. So that's kind of the difference.
Okay. I love it. And another thing about those posts, like you said, that's kind of your whole purpose is to like inspire someone or to entertain someone. And those posts, they live there on your feed, right? Like someone can come back to those. Whereas stories, like you said, it's real time. So after 24 hours, you don't get those back, right?
Yes.
You can see those. But I love that she said it's way more real life with the stories, because is everything you share on posts or on stories related to Truora?
No.
No.
And that's the
not
point.
signals. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. You want to build that trust that she talked about. So I like that. So what kind of things are you posting on an Instagram post versus on a story? Like, what would the difference be there?
Okay, so we're gonna start with posts. And this is always kind of the big question. It's like, what to post, right?
Yeah.
But let's start with how to formulate the post. So I always recommend when you do a post, putting more than one picture at a time. So at least two, because as far as I know, the Instagram algorithm will show your post twice if you have two pictures at least for people to scroll over to. So if you ever see someone who has a picture and there's dots underneath it, that means you can swipe and see more pictures. So always try to post two, or a picture and a video together, or just multiple pictures, that's great too. Once a day, like I said. And the content itself, that's the big question. The answer lies in what you're passionate about. So what you post is going to have to do with you. You have to find interests that have nothing to do with Truora, and also some that have a connection to Truora. So here are some examples. Self-care, healthy food and recipes that you love, gut health, exercise, mental health, even like gardening, getting outside, something like toxin-free living. So the way these relate to Truora is health focused, right? We are a clean beauty company. So anything in the health sector will support your Truora posts, and you will gain trust overall when you're posting about those types of things, because people know you're not selling them on an exercise program, right? So for me, I have about 3 different focuses that I use in my posts. Toxin-free living. So that includes like house cleaning products that I have found, baby products. Also, even like around, I will talk about how we don't use the pesticide, sprays and things like that. So second one is exercise. I specifically post a lot about when I do yoga or little workouts in my porch. And then mom stuff. So raising healthy, happy kids, mentally and physically, getting outside and taking time for yourself amongst mom life for your mental and physical health, and modeling that. So those are all of my kind of passions. And I feel like the audience that I have has built a trust with me that I have done a lot of research in these areas. So they'll ask me questions about products that they're looking at. How does this look to you? What do you use for your teeth? Things like that. And that's how I know that I've built trust now. And it takes a while, but you will get there. When they're looking for, a product, they know they can go on my Facebook group and they can search like toothpaste, and I will have done something on toothpaste, for example.
Perfect.
So it's great. They think of it as a resource now. And then I know that they will come to me if they're in the market for anything cosmetics, because they know that I post that also. They know that I trust Trora, that I'm really picky about my cosmetics and my products. And so I will recommend something that I'm passionate about, and I'm passionate about Trora.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think building that trust and that relationship is such a big part of social media. And I think that's the big thing. I mean, not that we're already having a takeaway, but we kind of are. I mean, it's really important to remember that the sale doesn't necessarily happen on social media, right? You're not necessarily on there messaging someone, hey, do you want to buy this right now? But
Right.
engaging people, making those connections, it's like social media is that stepping stone to the sale. And I think it's a really, really cool way, like Ashley said, to build trust with your audience or with your friends, whoever it is that you're posting for. And she gave some great examples there of what kind of content you would see on your posts. And notice nowhere did she say, hey, you've got to create these graphics with the Trora products in them and post them on your Instagram only. We don't want to create extra work when we're talking about social media. It has to be something that you're passionate about, right? And those things that Ashley shared, those are things that resonate with her. And those are things that people can see through. Those things tell you about Ashley. So when they think of Ashley, they go to her for those things. It might not be the same for you. I know for me, I'm trying to think about my posts. It really mostly is to do with family, right? That's really the only thing I post about, my family and my dog maybe, and my baby, and trying to make healthy choices, good choices, raising my family. And I've engaged a lot of new friends and new followers through that. So the posts are the ones that live on your feed. They don't have to be related to Trora. You don't have to create anything new. And just like Ashley said, you're building that trust. So now that we've kind of wrapped our head around really the purpose of posts and what they look like, so as an end result, what your posts might look like, what about stories? What are you posting on stories, and how often are you posting there?
Okay, perfect. One more thing I'll say just overall about posting stories and posts there's kind of an 80%, 20% rule. And the 80% is things that are not selling. They're just lifestyle posts, engaging people. 20% is about Trora. So it's not like I'm not telling them what I'm using and telling them there's a sale on something, but that's only 20% of my posts, right? So this is the kind of overarching rule on anything that you have that's a public post. Now, if you have a private group where people have opted in to a Trora focus group, you can post more about Trora in those groups, but I still recommend giving them other stuff. So that rule doesn't apply to those. But when you go back to your list of passions, right? Those are, an example of posts might be like my family time last weekend, like you said, right? And how that happy place is the beach. And that is so good for my mental health. The inspirational thought along with a picture of you reading a book that you love. That's an inspirational post. And then I post things like grocery store, healthy finds at the grocery store, and a review of something that I'm trying. So I'm just wanting to kind of give people ideas of the content. Like, you don't have to know everything about every product or everything about mental health. You can just post what works for you. Google a few things about like an inspirational quote here and there and use it. Use Google as your friend. If you don't know something, just Google it. But posting pictures of yourself is important in your life. So that's important for stories and posts. So I'm going to move to stories now. For stories, it's really like a day in the life of Ashley. So if you have like a morning routine, so my morning routine is usually wake up, have some coffee, and I do a gratitude journal, and I do my skincare routine. So I might post a little bit of that, but not necessarily the same thing every day. But I might start with gratitude journal. This is what I'm grateful for today. Love it. Right. And then I might go into today I'm doing cleanser, toner, and day lotion, keeping it simple. Or I might do a before and after of like a quick makeup look. That's it. Then the next post I might do is picking up a kid from school and having a smoothie. You know, what's in my smoothie?
Yeah.
Right. Then I'll do a workout and I'm doing a time lapse so that they see my workout really fast. It's kind of fun. And I'll tell them what workout I did. A funny moment on the playground, right? All of these videos are 1 minute or shorter. So that's key for stories. Mm-hmm. They even break them down into 15-minute increments when they show up, but you can do a full minute at a time. If you go over a minute, you got to do a separate video. I think that's still the case on Instagram, right? But that's why, because they want them to be short, real time, and they need to be different enough that they're interesting. So you don't want to post a minute story of the same thing over and over, right? Like if you go on a long walk, great, but do a time lapse so it speeds it up instead of doing like 4 different minutes of your walk.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
So that's kind of my ideas on stories. And the great thing about them, and I'm going to show you, is people can engage with your stories by clicking on little stickers. Yes. And that helps the algorithm to get people to see your stuff.
I love it. I know. And we keep talking about the algorithm, but really when we're talking about social media and the purpose, like why use social media, it doesn't have to be the only thing you do. It can be a very, very small piece of what you do, but the purpose of it, right, is to engage and connect with people that you might otherwise not know. So you might have a private account that you're not sharing with people, and then you might have a public account that everyone can see, so you can meet new people and reach new people using hashtags and the algorithm that we're talking about. But I mean, she explained stories absolutely perfectly. You're just kind of showing your day, super casual, not done up. I mean, I'll film the mess in my house, because I think something to remember about social media, and if you're trying to share something that we want to help people understand is attainable, then you don't want to make it seem like everything is perfect. People relate to someone who they have things in common with, right? And that's why people go to Ashley for recommendations, because she shares that kind of stuff. So it's really just being authentic and talking about what you're passionate about and what you're interested in. So that's the great thing about social media. I think for a lot of people, it can be seen as just another thing, but if you use it as a tool to engage new people, new friends, new potential customers, and even friends that you already had that might not even know what you're doing. If you share on social media, it's a great way to do that. So stories, I prefer stories over posts. Posts, I do like maybe once a month. So Ashley said once a day. It's really, really good to be active on your Instagram, because people go back to see it, right? Posts, I'm far less active, but stories, I'm on there every day. You'll be tapping through my bars at the top of stories if you don't want to hear me talking, just because I love watching stories like that. I enjoy people talking about their day-to-day and sharing products they like, or sharing going on a walk, or watching Ashley's super sped up workout videos as I'm sitting on the couch thinking, man, I should really be working out. So it's just a fun way to engage with followers and meet and interact with potential customers or consultants. So anyway, that's my spiel. But would you agree, because we're going to talk about those little engaging stickers and polls, but would you agree with the way that Instagram is set up? People are spending more time watching and engaging with stories versus posts. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. And you can see how many people are watching your stories, so you know. But I think the reason why it's so engaging is, if you notice, when you click on a story, all of a sudden your whole screen is that one person's story. There's no distractions. There's no other thing going on. It's the whole screen is the story. And that's powerful, because you have captured their attention for whatever time that is. And I will say this too, there are not a ton of people who use the audio on stories. So it's important to have wording on there. And we're going to show you how to do that, because that way people can read what you're saying, or at least get the gist of what you're saying without hearing it too. But I think they're just so fun and so interesting. And that's why they've taken off.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's not to say that posts aren't just equally as important. People scroll on Instagram all day, so they're going to see your posts. But I think that's a perfect explanation of why the algorithm kind of favors stories. It's because it's so engaging and you have captured that person's attention, just you, for as long as they'll click through your stories, right? Whereas if you're looking on your Instagram feed at posts, you're just kind of scrolling from thing to thing, deciding if you want to read the whole caption. Rhonda, I prefer to view posts over stories. See, and some people do, right? Especially if you want to go see pictures of their family or whatever it is, you remember seeing a picture, you can go back and look at that post because it lives there. Whereas stories, sometimes you've got to go back and watch them over and over and over again, which that's another powerful thing about them, right? If I'm talking about a product and I didn't quite catch what Ashley said about that product, I can go back and rewatch that story. So anyway, both are awesome. I'm more inclined to stories, but honestly, both are great at engaging and connecting. So I know you mentioned stories are a great way to start a conversation and make a connection. So can you tell us more about how you do that? Whether it's with an acquaintance that you already have, someone you already know, or I know on your public account, you reach people that you don't know.
Yes, this is a really important piece because really the whole selling situation will happen in a private message. And let me tell you about stories. If you look on the top of your screen and you see all the people's names or pictures that have stories going on right now, what I do is I look through them and I try to click on people stories to watch who are not a consultant or already a really good client, but who are a potential client. Yeah. Okay. So these are like acquaintances of mine that haven't bought from me before or have bought very little, or maybe have tried a product. And I will intentionally start conversation with them because that's the people that I want to be seeing my posts the most. And as soon as you click on their story and you comment on it, it will immediately push you into a DM, which is a direct message to that person. So it's like they got an email, but it's like a Instagram email in their inbox. Oh, somebody sent me a message, and they'll immediately see that it's you and you said something about them. So what I do is compliment them. I laugh at their story, and I agree with them or whatever it is. And this is going to spark that conversation that we've all been waiting for, to just sort of like get to know that person. Then we're going to talk about how to transition them into a customer later. But when you engage with their story, and even if they don't write you back, so if you just comment on their story, it'll send them a DM with whatever you said. They will start seeing your story more. And you will start seeing theirs more just because you sent that message. So that's really powerful, because when you comment on a post, that doesn't happen. It's just a comment that lives there. But if you comment on a story, it starts the conversation. And I think that is where we will see major turn from just a follower to a customer.
Absolutely. Because that's ultimately what we want to do, right? I mean, we're not being sneaky about it. We don't have an agenda, but we kind of do, right? We're sharing, we want to make these connections, but also we want to share what we love and what we think they would love. So starting that conversation is so important. And she makes a great point about interacting. When you interact with other people, that's going to make their stuff pop up on your feed more, and vice versa, because that's the way the Instagram algorithm works. It's really, really fancy and really, really smart, but the things that you are interested in or the people that you interact with on Instagram are the things that you're going to see more often. I think that is so important to remember when we're talking about Instagram. And that's another reason why stories are so big these days. We had a couple people ask questions about these on how to engage a younger audience, right? How do we engage the younger generation and get them trying these things? The younger generation are watching all the stories, right? If you look, if I think about my younger sister and even me, we're young. I think far more people are active on stories now more than they are posts. And that's because of the way that the Instagram algorithm works. So now we're going to kind of get into the nitty gritty. Hopefully you guys aren't feeling overwhelmed. Basically, up until this point, I want you to have taken away the fact that social media is an amazing tool to engage and connect with people you already know and potential customers. That's really all you should have gathered at this point. If you're not using it as a tool for your business, it's a really, really great thing that you should start to explore. So now we talked about earlier, when you're posting stories, there are lots of different options to help you engage and spark those interactions through polls and quizzes and Q&As. So I'm going to get Ashley to share her screen with us and walk us through some of that. As an old lady, thanks for that information about IG stories. You're not an old lady, first of all. Second of all, it's good information, right? And you kind of have to like look into this Instagram algorithm stuff to know that. So that's why we're here, you know, better together. We're sharing, learning from each other. So now you can see Ashley's screen, and she's going to kind of walk us through stories.
Yeah, so we're just gonna basically post a new story, and I'm just gonna show you some simple tools that help engagement on your posts that are stories. So, well, first of all, my story pops up here. So there's my fast workout, right?
Perfect
You can see
example.
how I guess I'll just show you some of these. You can see how I wrote some things on it, right? And then I just did one that was like, I'm sore, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a review of dark chocolate. Remember how I said I do reviews of things? And here's where I talk about having vertigo. Okay,
this is perfect. I love that. That's a perfect example of a story, y'all. It's real life. It doesn't have to be polished. And you'll notice, I don't think all of that stuff is health related. So it makes sense why she would be sharing about Truora too. But you'll notice you didn't see anything about Truora, and that's okay. That's okay. She's building that trust, building that connection with these people that are watching her story. And you can see under there, it says seen by 50 people.
Right. And that's kind of low for me, but I posted this today. It'll be there all the way until tomorrow morning. Yeah. I'm going to show you guys how to do some of these things, like the 100% right there. Yeah. That is called a poll, and they can choose between two options. If you ask a question, it gives them a chance to answer it. Then I'm going to show you how to put the words that you're saying into real life captions, which is so useful. Okay. So here's how you add a story. Do you see how it has on the top left side, my story? It says your story. You can click on that. That's one way to do it. Then you click on the plus in the same top left corner. There's a blue plus sign. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to click that. Now it's going to show me real life, right? From here, there is a drop-down menu on the left with the letters. And when you click the down arrow, it gives you all these different options. So I don't want to go through all of these, but if you want to do a video, which most of y'all probably are going to, do some videos, you want to click hands-free, because you can just click the button start and stop. You don't have to hold your finger on it, which is great. If you're going to do a photo, you don't have to click any of these. Okay. Let's try to do a quick video. I'll see if I can film something here. I'm mid-training, wearing my orchid lipstick, doing a training on how to do a story. So I just wanted to come on here, show y'all, what do you think about my pink lips?
Love it.
Okay, so that was my video. Kind of funny. Now, if I wanted to tell everybody what I said without me having to type out every word I said, you're going to click the square-shaped smiley face at the top of the screen. Square-shaped smiley face. Okay. Then there is a button called Captions that is blue wording. If you see that, Captions on the left. Automatically will, oh, you know what? It won't do it now because the audio is messed up because I'm on a Zoom at the same time. But normally it would transcribe, like I showed you in my story earlier about vertigo. Everything I said will pop up in words as I say it. And then if someone doesn't have their volume on, they can still see what I said, right? Mm-hmm. But let's try another sticker. Let's do a poll. How do you like my orchid lips? Okay, I can say love or not so much. So you can actually type what you want them to choose from, which is cool. I use these a lot because they're simple and people have a tendency to just click it without even thinking, Yeah.
And you can see, right? So once you post that poll, which I'm sure she's going to get to, you can see who responds and who clicks what. So like a lot of the time I'll be like, hey, y'all, I'm sending out some samples. Let me know if you want one. Yes or no. They click yes, and I can follow up with whoever said yes, they want a sample. So
I'm really going to post this, so I got to make it good. So for training tonight. Okay. Now, other stickers that we wanted to talk about, you can put music on your posts, on your stories. You can also type this one where if you want someone to answer a question like, what's a good example? What are you going to be for Halloween? Right? They can take that and they can write an answer in there to you, and it'll show up in your feed. In your messages. All right. I think that's good. I mean, there's lots of different ones, right?
Yeah. And you can explore all this stuff. And guys, make sure if you have a question or if you need further explanation on anything, go ahead and send it in the chat, but you're going to be able to watch this on replay. Honestly, it's just something to play around with. They're super engaging and fun. So.
Okay. So I'm going to post this. I'm going to say send to, well, I should tell you to real fast. This A at the top right corner, that's important. The A is going to let you type anything you want, right? Different text, all kind of things. Okay. I'm just going to show them that. Now I'm going to send this. It says to my story and my Facebook story.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can link it up to Facebook, which is awesome. Now I'm going to hit share. Done. Then your story will pop up first in this line of circles. When you post stories throughout the day, a couple hours apart or even closer together than that, every time you post a new one, yours goes to the front of the line. Okay. So anything else I should share while I'm on here?
No, I think that's perfect. The polls and the Q&A is so helpful with engaging. It doesn't even have to be about Truora, but you can use it for that. It's just kind of starting a conversation, like Ashley said, which is the whole point of social media. So I love that you shared that. And then you also showed us, did you show us what button to press if you want to link it to Facebook too?
No, if you have not linked it to your Facebook group, I will show you that now. I mean, your Facebook, your actual profile, sorry.
Yeah, because if you have, it could be a page, you can link it to a page or you can link it to a profile, but you know, our time is precious. You don't want to post one thing on Instagram and then have to go post the same thing again on Facebook. So she's talking about linking it right now.
So on the bottom right, you'll see a picture of yourself. Bottom right is where you'll go to kind of your bio and profile type of thing. Then on the top right, you see 3 lines. Then you're going to click settings. Here's where, you know, my account's already there, but it says account in the middle. And let's see, is that where you add it? Personal. It might be right here, account center.
Account center, and it's probably just not showing up for you. Oh yeah, because
mine's already there. Yeah. It's already there. That's where I was looking for. Sorry. But if you don't have one, then you can add one here.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
I think that's so cool. We want to make the most of our time, but then you only have to post it one place and it goes at the same time. So.
Right. You want to just play around with that, try to get your profile hooked up.
Okay. And then one of the last things I want to ask, because, you know, tonight we've really just talked about connecting and engaging with new potential customers or with your friends and creating that relationship and building that trust. So what would be your advice when it comes to converting that relationship, taking it and converting it to a customer? What would be your advice?
None of what I said matters if you don't do this part. Literally. Yes. Okay. So I just did, you know, I'm always learning, and I just listened to a training on this, and there are steps in the communication process. So I'm going to try to iron out kind of what I've been doing lately that's working. Starting with surface level questions to people, surface level conversations is always where it starts. It's called situational questions. How's work going? How's home life? How are you juggling COVID? How are you navigating the crazy world of getting back to school? So those kind of questions are great, but don't get stuck there, because it's really easy to get stuck in like that. We call it like the friend zone, but it's not necessarily deep conversation. The second step is called the problem questions. What we want to do is kind of start coming up with questions that might trigger a problem that Truora can solve. So when you look at our products and our opportunity, those are both different things that solve different problems. So our products solve the problem of skin issues, clean and toxin-free living, that like if someone's really struggling with using chemicals, but they're not sure what else to do and blah, 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 you have the solution. If someone's struggling with maskne, you have the solution. If someone doesn't know what to use on their kids for body wash, because all of those baby products have crap in them, you've got Truora body wash. So you want to kind of probe for things that might be a problem in their life. Even asking questions like, do you have any time for yourself? Like, do you ever get any time for self-care? Because self-care relates so well to Truora, both the opportunity and the products. Have you been wearing masks and how's your skin handling it? That's a big one. And I know I've had to adjust my regimen. That's real life. Then you go into implication questions, which are a little bit deeper in that problem. Like, does it make you feel better to know that you're using something that's toxin free? Doesn't that feel so good? Maybe you're talking about something else like cleaning products, and you can then transition to, oh my gosh, I'm so happy my body wash is clean too. Is yours? Like really thinking about deeper questions that go into a problem they might have. Questions like, what if your mask didn't break you out? Wouldn't that be amazing? What if you wore it all day and you didn't have a breakout? Do you feel a boost when you wear makeup once in a while? I know I do.
Yes.
Those kind of questions. Then the fourth level of communication is solution questions. So would you be willing to try some new things that I think would really help, whatever that problem is? And then you can direct them to either the samples, which are huge, sample program, use it.
Yes.
Or you can direct them to a money back guarantee. So I recently have an example of doing this to a friend. I was actually working on the last day of the month, trying to get $400 more in sales in one day. So I sat down for 2 hours and I was like, I'm just going to message people that haven't ordered in a while or that were like on the fence. So I messaged my friend, Meredith, and she hadn't used, I think she only bought from me one time when Truora first opened, and it was like the 4-piece skincare regimen and that's it. And so I just started asking her in text message about life and what she's doing lately. And she's like, I've given up on makeup because I wear a mask all day. And I was like, oh, how's the mask going for you? And she's like, well, no cleanser works. And I think that's pretty much what she said. And the makeup I've given up on. And I was like, ooh, I can feel that pain. I said, I might suggest like maybe having a little bit of a trial time with these 4 products. And I suggested 4 of our Truora products. And I said, it's money back guarantee. And right now I'm doing a little gift with purchase for the last day of the month. So if you want to try these, let me know, because I really do think they would help. Like, these are the things that I've been using since we were wearing masks. And she was like, all right, I'll take it. I mean, it was like so easy. And she did TLC because I told her, oh, you're so close to TLC. Like, let's add one more thing and it'll basically be free. So she got body wash too. And so it was literally solving a problem for her. And I said, I'm going to check in with you. Like, I want to know how this is working for you. And please, like, tell me when your box comes and I'll make sure you know what order to use everything in and all of that, But I don't think that I would have been brave enough to just like go for that if I hadn't probed her with some questions and found the problem to solve. Because I don't feel comfortable just being like, oh, do you need some Truora? You know what I mean? I feel much more comfortable finding out what they need actually in their life first.
I love it. That's a perfect example, and a perfect example of what social media is, right? And I want to remind you guys that what works for one person might not work for another. I'm not saying you have to go and completely change everything that you're doing in your business and focus just on social media, but how amazing just to have made that connection through a DM on Instagram, right? Or a response to a story. It's just a great way to start a conversation. And Ashley's given some awesome tools to take that conversation and turn it into a sale, right? And maybe it doesn't turn into a sale right away. That's okay. When you share on social media, you're kind of starting a relationship. It's a starting point, and it's a stepping stone to, maybe someone that sees your story one day and doesn't respond one day, or doesn't respond to your poll that day. Weeks or months down the road, they might remember that story they saw and reach out to you, right? It's just a way to engage and connect with people. And she's given some perfect examples of how you can do that. Is there anything else you want to share? You've shared so much, but is there anything else that you can think of?
Well, I just think that it takes time. So you have to give yourself grace. This is not an overnight thing. As you continue to find new, lifestyle changes, or just as you explore your own passions and you start posting about them, you're going to build that following of like-minded people. And then the sales will happen. So it's like, it's a consistency and persistency game. Yeah. And I do think that the one-on-one conversation is the most important thing. So once you sort of build that trust, don't be afraid to start up conversations with people. And that might be through the messenger, or it might be through, if you have, acquaintances that you have phone numbers and things like that. But and I want to tell y'all, the putting in the time and just the 5 minutes a day, it really adds up. Stories, it sounds daunting to do them all day, but it's like 5 seconds each time. It's not like you're sitting down every hour and you're like, what am I going to post? You know what I mean? Like it's, I'm cooking this meal. I'm just going to take a quick photo of it and I might post it later, but I've got like the photos in my camera ready to go. And then I just kind of sit down every 2 hours when I get a second and I like throw one up. So kind of collecting the photos in your phone will help you to sort of be more consistent and thinking about it as throughout your day. Like, would this help someone? Would this help someone? Would this help someone? And collect those photos and those short videos.
I love it. That's great advice. Oh my goodness. And a great place to start too. Like Ashley gave so many great ideas. Pick one thing that she said that you're like, okay, I can manage implementing that. Right. And run with it. Just pick one thing. I think that's amazing advice and a great place to start, and just helpful to know that it's a great way to engage people in what you're doing. And you don't have to create a whole bunch of content. So I hope we didn't make you feel that way. These are just easy ways that you can share what you're doing, share your day, and engage and connect with people. So thank you again for sharing all your tips and tricks with us. We got some great tips for sharing your life authentically, engaging potential customers via stories, and then creating dialogue, right? Because like she said, creating that conversation, starting that one-on-one conversation is a super, super important part. So if you're like me and learn from repetition, there's going to be a recording of this training. So it'll be up tomorrow and you can watch it over and over and over again about how she works her stories and the polls and the Q&As and things like that. But thank you again, Ashley. I have a couple housekeeping things that I want to remind you guys about. Holiday hustle, y'all. It's underway. And we have 2 amazing business challenges going on right now. So we continued our sponsoring challenge into October. And I want to say congratulations to Virginia Woodruff, our first October sponsor. So she sponsored a new consultant. I think it was it the 1st of October? I believe so, but she was our first one for October. So we need some more people to join her. Let's keep going. And for each 10 in October, for each 10 sponsors, we'll draw for 5 winners. So you're going to receive a Truera kit bag that includes a surprise product. It could be skincare, treatment, clean color, body care, anything, but it'll come in that kit bag. And guys, 5 drawings for each 10 sponsors. Those are odds that are really, really good, right? 1 in every 2 sponsors is going to win. So you guys make sure you join Virginia. And while we're sharing our holiday hustle, we should always offer our side hustle, right? Start that mountaintop approach and share our opportunity. And then we also have the Share the Season business challenge going on that was announced October 1st. So it's designed to help you get the word out about our app, which is loaded with all kinds of videos and images and banners that you can share directly from our app. So you share 5 times and you'll get an entry into our drawing for prizes, and then share 5 more, another entry, 5 more, another entry. And, there's a great selection of prizes that was handpicked by yours truly and the home office team, but they're really, really awesome.
I was really excited about these. I'm like, are you doing a drawing tonight? Because I'm pretty pumped.
Right? I know first drawing is next week. So y'all get sharing. But they're really good. There's like one of the silicone facial cleanser things. There's an acrylic makeup stand, a cute little leather backpack, because those are really in right now. And then also a $25 product credit. Great prizes. I'm on it. Yes, y'all, let's get sharing. So our first drawing is going to be next week, which happens to be when our special guest, Julie Ciardi, is going to be on. So she's going to be live next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central. I know that's not our normal time, but that's when she was available. So she's going to be live at 1 p.m. And then you can always catch the 8 p.m. replay, because our normal time is 8 p.m. And I'm going to post the link in the chat right now to the Holiday Hustle details. So you can see that's the business challenge, the October business challenge. But anyway, lots of amazing things going on. That sponsoring challenge, the sharing challenge from the Share app. And we have tons of people who have already earned lots of entries to that. So that's my spiel. I'm done. I promise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again to Ashley. And hopefully I will see you guys next week for our guest, Julie Ciardi. And as always, let us know if you have any questions. Bye, guys.
Bye.